Hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of A Quiet Enemy with your host Dr. Dre and Mook.
The streets about to speak.
And special shout out to all the fathers. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Definitely.
Glad we can be here with you as we are sort of rounding out our season 1. Today we have two special guests with us. Thank you guys for being here. Kia and Jada, who have volunteered to come on the show and talk about some very personal experiences. And it's always to bring to light, some of the difficulties that people go through. And so we applaud them for having the courage to share their story. Hopefully their story will inspire others to come forth with their stories and to just talk to somebody when they really feel the need to talk to someone. And that's the thing that we really want to sort of emphasize with Quiet Enemy is that it's okay to talk to someone. Well, with that being said, Mook, just in brief, do we have a shout out today?
Yeah, we got a shout out to Lowe's Kitchen. My fault. Lowe's Kitchen. He's the liver. He has the cameraman. Can you get that a little closer? Lowe's Kitchen. Instagram, IG, Lowe's_Kitchen 93rd. I need to check that out. That brother got some good, scrumptious food. I'm telling you.
What type of food is that?
Some loaded potatoes, lasagna.
Oh,
They look
okay.
good, though. Y'all see that?
Yeah. I'm going to need for my diet. That's really torture right now.
And you hungry? So what's up, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to Quiet Enemy Podcast. We have two young ladies here. One I might know a little bit. Her name Jada. And then they got her friend Kia. How you doing? Man? Good to meet y'all. Before we get into there, I just want to ask them something.
Sure.
What's wrong with these young guys out here on the street? Do y'all know?
Man,
It's what is going on with them?
that back door wide open,
Yeah, I been just a dead man for themselves.
basically.
How do y'all even, with all the violence, like, do these, y'all be around these young guys, do they have any compassion? Like, what do they be going through to make them, be out here like that?
I feel like they have compassion for the people that they be around.
And that's it.
That's about it. So anybody else is just like red flag.
Dead to them, huh?
Yeah.
That don't make no sense, man. How y'all feel about that? Like, let me just say this. This savage life they live in, man. How, as you young black women, can they even invest in time with a young man nowadays? Because they so fucked up out here.
Only if they willing to change.
But what's an indicator for you that they're willing to change? What's a sign?
Their actions.
So actions speak louder than words. You got to see
For
something.
sure. For sure.
Okay.
I don't deal with it.
You just don't deal with it?
No.
You just keep them as friends.
That's it.
Cause they so toxic, they
Can't deal
fucked
with it,
up,
yeah.
man. They scary too. You see this shit
Right.
on the news? This shit is scary, man.
It is.
They'll turn us right like them.
Yeah.
So I guess is it any more any less scary than when we were growing up?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Look at the time. Just say your daughter dating somebody. She bring the young man to the crib. Back in the day, we was growing up. Yes sir, no sir. Man, fuck your dick. I'll shoot the shit out you, nigga.
That's for sure.
One thing
What's
though,
up, G?
they so disrespectful, man. They is disrespectful, man, and it's scary. I don't even look their way when I'm going to gas stations. I just be like, man,
Tunnel vision.
cause these little motherfuckers are motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's scary. I remember I was at the gas station about 2 months ago, and somewhere in one of these neighborhoods, and I got a little nervous because this guy kept looking at me. And then when he finally got out from the gas station, he walked up to me, and he was like, "Hey man," I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" You kind of.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey man, what's up, man?" He's like, "I swear to God, he's like my father." I mean, he's so bad. He's so bad. He really. It was. You could tell he was like for real. He was like real serious. And I'm like, nah, man. I haven't been in Chicago for years, so I'm not. He's like, you sure I forgot the name he named. But I'm like, no. I said, nah. He's like, all right, and he looked at me all the way until I got in my car and drove off. And he was, I could, in my rear view, you could see.
He probably just had a tear coming down his face. And everything. I really think that's my dad.
Dude, I mean, I really believe he was sincere in that. Really,
He did the same shit. You
Right.
ignore him.
I'm pretty sure I am 100% sure I don't have any children. So, I've never been the reckless type. So yeah, but that was an experience though. So you know that is in terms of you just talking about the young guys and what's wrong. You know, let's segue. Let's talk a little bit more about that, especially when it comes to some of you all's experiences in the Kia Jada. Now, both of you have had close friends who have unfortunately lost their life to violence and to mental health issues. Now, so I'm very curious to know, kind of like walk us a little bit through your story and how you dealt with it, and kind of how are you now since that happened. So I know with you, Nakia, you lost a friend, Tyrus.
No, that's my brother. I lost my friend Nisi.
Oh, my apologies, Tyrus. Can you talk a little to us a little bit about Tyrus?
Which one? Tyrus or Nisi?
Tyrus.
Yeah, okay.
My brother?
Yeah.
Well, you asked how do I feel about it and how am I going about it. Actually, I'm not over it. I mean, I kind of was about to tear up a little bit, but I got to kind of keep my composure. But man, that was hard. It was kind of like a throw off, you know, like something that you're not prepared for. Cause I remember I was out and I was with Gooch and Selena, and I had got a call from my nephew, my brother's son, which was he was about 15 at the time. And he was the first person that got the call. So when he called me, I was just like, okay, maybe this ain't, true. Maybe he's just saying something. Because my brother's always been in and out of jail. So once I got that, it's just like, from that day, I just kind of like went kind of haywire, if I'm going to be technically honest.
So you didn't believe it at first?
Mm-mm.
When did you believe? When did it become real for you?
When my mama got home, because they was all at the hospital and they didn't want me to come down there, because they knew I was going to take it. So
how old was it?
Tyrus was 35. So yeah, somebody set him up or whatever like that, but yeah, so they didn't let me go see him. When we went to go view him at the morgue, they took me with them, but they didn't let me see him there either. So I just been like angry, like I wish I could have saw my brother, before trying to see him laying in the casket. So I wouldn't say like I separated myself from my family, but I did, because I felt like that was wrong of them to do me like that, But I'm still battling it.
How do you do that? How do you deal with it even now? Because that was in 2015, right?
Yes, I just isolate myself. I'm not too good with being friends anymore with people, I don't really know how to communicate anymore with people.
Do you feel like it's something that you will ever heal from or get past?
Never. I don't think so.
Do you think are you accepting that you will never get over, or do you desire to? Like, what would that look like for you to say, hey, you know what, I'm okay, I've kind of accepted what happened. What would that look like, or do you have an idea what that would look like?
To be honest, I don't know what that'll look like, because that's not a feeling that I have right now. Like, I think about it all the time, like, okay, just get over it. Like, not get over it, but just accept it,
Right.
But
No.
It just be hard.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to someone about it? Let's see, a counselor or a therapist or?
Other than boss, when I be going through my little stages and stuff, I call boss.
Grieving queen.
Other than that, no.
Okay. Do you think that might be something to think about?
I mean, I don't believe in like going and talking in front of a stranger that I don't know, because they got all the answers by science. I don't think that'll help me. You know, I gotta be able to talk to somebody that actually understands where I'm coming from, so I can feel like I'm heard instead of just, jotting down what it could be and what it's not.
That means you might have to take a chance at some point.
Yeah, you're doing it right now, talking to him.
Yeah.
But going back in the earlier conversation when you said that when you first heard it, you was in denial. When I first heard it, the process, I ignored it that instant.
Yeah.
You block it. You know what I'm saying? Because you like, shit, this ain't what it is. And so when you find out what it really is, do you think? I mean, when you found out what it really was when your brother was dead, and you say you didn't see him, do you think that your family protected you from that because they knew you probably emotionally couldn't deal with it?
Yeah, that's why they didn't tell me, because they knew that about me.
Yeah.
Because they knew how much I was close to my big brother.
Yeah. So
and at the same time, you said that you were also upset with them for doing that.
Yep,
It's
definitely
kind
was.
of a catch-22. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Although they were doing it out of love and protection, it seems like.
Yeah.
I
can't accept that part, but
you look like you would cut somebody, cause you don't play, do you?
Okay. Well, I would just say that there is a lot of you still have a life to live,
of course.
and thinking that, and a lot of people I work with, because I'm a therapist,
Okay.
and I work with a lot of people from my community because I prefer to, and I deal with a lot of people who deal with loss, and I would have to say on average it's always better to take an opportunity to deal with it, to really deal with it, because Kia, you still have a life to live, and it's still possible to find fulfillment, to find happiness in a different way. But it is possible. You just have to sort of be willing to take that step. And to your point about, I don't want to talk to a stranger because I don't feel like they're going to understand me. You'd be surprised. I've dedicated my life, my career to working with folks from my community who deal with all types of stress, anxiety, loss, trauma. From that perspective, and from my own personal life in terms of when Mookie lost his little brother, I felt like that was my little brother too. I mean, he called me every morning at 8:30, annoyingly. I don't know why, but it was a hell of a loss as well. So it's definitely something that I take very seriously, and I can tell you just from my 15 years of being in private practice and working with different folks that taking the opportunity to deal with it does help. It does.
But how do you do that?
Taking the chance to talk to someone.
Just dealing with it. You just say, okay, well today I'm just gonna let it stop affecting me. How do you do that?
Well, that's unrealistic to say today I'm just not going to let it affect me. That's an unrealistic goal. The reality of it is it's going to. The change you will feel in therapy hopefully is that incrementally, piece by piece, it'll get better. But that takes being honest with yourself, talking, releasing some of that anger. And that's what the therapist's role is to help you walk through that pain, help you see a different perspective, help you understand that, when life comes death, and sometimes it's unfortunate, it's unfair, but the reality of it is that doesn't have to be Kia's new label. That doesn't have to be your new identity, right? It doesn't have to be, right?
My fault. And also, you got to understand, this is the point of acquiring. So, you don't have that mindset that a lot of us have out here, that we don't need to talk to nobody. That's why it's called acquiring. That's why we're doing what we're doing, to wake us up as a community, a black community, to let everybody know it's okay. You know what I'm saying? To heal and grieve and talk about it. That's what you're doing right now. This the whole purpose of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to you and your brother, which you lost 9/21/16, how's your grieving process? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do to contain your emotions and at times when you feeling down about what happened to your brother?
Get some money. Get some money. My brother was like, he always wanted money. He always was fresh. Like, I just, go to work, take care of my mama, make sure my mama and my sister straight. Like, his goal was to make us happy. So, like, I just gotta keep doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I do. Work, go to school, graduate college, do positive things, travel the world.
You graduated from Atlanta, Clark?
Yes.
Yeah, 22, huh? What is it, Magna Cum
Laude,
Laude?
yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what that mean? You was queen? You the open daughter? what's man? Little open daughter over here.
Graduated with Latin honor.
Just that's
Thank you.
Yeah, so what's the plan after graduating from Lottie?
I'm still teaching.
Okay.
Taught preschool, kindergarten,
Mhm.
first grade.
Yeah.
Just continue teaching. Yeah.
So I don't want to go backwards, but I am curious to know, based on your actions
Mhm.
that we're talking about, one could assume that Jada has figured out a way to still grab a hold of life and live it, right?
Mhm.
And for some people, when they deal with loss and trauma, like you guys have, that's hard to do. It's hard to re-engage in life, and it sounds like you've done that. I mean, cum laude is not a small
Yeah, it was
accomplishment.
hard. Ooh.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I guess my question is, when you first suffered the loss in 2016, correct? How did you? I'm sure the way you feel now wasn't how you felt then, right?
Right, yeah.
The hurt. How did you process that? How did you deal with it? And what was the point where you're like, you know what, I gotta keep it on?
Well, man, that day was horrible for me. Like, I was at work, and my sister called me, and she normally don't even call me, so I'm knowing like something gotta be going on or something, because my sister normally don't call me, but when she called me, I quickly answered. So she was like, Daryl dead, like, and I instantly just like lost it. It wasn't a pause or nothing. I just lost my mind. Like, I was throwing up, couldn't breathe, passing out, and I was at work. Like, it was in the middle of the work day, and I'm like, how old? Like 17 years old, working at KFC, like
getting the money.
yeah, like my brother was happy that I had that little job. Like, he's like, you finally could stay out of my pocket.
Yeah.
Like, so.
How old was your brother?
My brother was probably 19 or 20. So, I mean, like, it was real hard for me to deal with. So, I don't know, like, that's a tragedy right there. Like, to lose my best friend, my father, first boyfriend, like, he ain't play about me, like, and that's what I miss the most, like, to have a person who don't play about me, like, protective, caring, loving, like, I miss that from, like, my dad, and that's crazy, because today Father's Day, and I'm supposed to be spending with my dad, but ain't no daddy. My mama, my daddy, like, that's what I do. It's hard, though.
That's unfortunate, too. You just said that, you don't have a dad, you feel like you don't have a dad.
Yeah, he abandoned me.
A father figure in your life.
My brother was, so.
Yeah.
Now, he passed away through suicide?
Yeah. I don't really like to say suicide. I like to say depression and stuff like that. Cause
Were you aware that he had some mental health stuff going on?
I could say that, yeah. But I ignored it, though, because I was so young. And I'm like, man, like, this can't be killing you. Like, something else got to be wrong. But I'm not thinking, like, depression is, like, seriously. Like, I wasn't taking it serious, like. So, but when it happened, I just, like, lost my mind. Because, like, that was, like, my best friend. Like, that was everything plus more. Like, a person that would go crazy. Like, I remember this dude called me a bitch. Like, my brother went berserk. Like, he went crazy. He pointed that nigga out. Like, I'm finna go kill this man. Like, who you talking did too. Like, my brother was big on respect and all of that. Like, you love yourself. My first boyfriend, my brother beat him up. He like, you don't love nobody. Like, you love me. Like, I remember, like, a lot of stuff, but, like, I really do love and miss him, like, for sure. Like, yeah.
When you said there were, I'm sorry, when you said there were things that you saw, but, you know, you were young, so you really didn't know.
No, right.
What were some of the things that you saw, or symptoms or behaviors that suggested that, you know, he was dealing with depression?
Wearing all black. Like, we're all black all the time. Be by myself. And then, like, he'll be quick to curse somebody out and say, fuck you real fast. Like, that was really it to me. He'll just get mad, like, real fast.
And that's like me.
Yeah, like.
That's me.
Mad all the time.
She just described me.
Can you please do us a favor on Quiet Enemy and look in that camera and tell these young adults your age,
I am 22 years old.
22, and tell them that mental health is real.
It is very
Man,
real.
thank you. It is very real. You cannot ignore it, you know, and everybody want to sweep it under the rug, and you got it. It's time for us to wake up, you know, and help each other heal, you know, and talk about it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it.
So, Jada, you know, as you look in the camera, I think another thing that's really important is to, you know, from 2016 to now, you've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to know, where did you find that strength?
I can say my mom, because, like, I feel like we grew, like, a better bond. We really don't get into it a lot, but, like, she do have her days, you know, when she go a little crazy, but, like, my mama, that's my heart, and my brother made sure, like, she was straight. So if I, like, continue to do that, continue to see my mama smile, like, I'm straight. That let me know, like, I'm doing my part. Like, my brother, like, I always wanted to make sure my little sister straight, my sister straight, and my mama for sure. Like, he ain't play, like, buying her shoes, clothes, you know, taking get her nails done, hair done. I make sure that happen. Like, yeah. I just make sure I see a smile on my mama's face. That's it.
Now, did you ever decide to go see someone or talk to somebody formally?
No, I never did.
Any reason why?
I just ain't never, like, really want to. Like, I don't know how to, like, talk to people that are really, like, understand, because really people don't have brothers that passed away from depression. So, like, when nobody really know how to, like, deal with that. Like, people, brothers, you know, get killed, car crashes and stuff like that, but ain't no brother really passed from depression that I know about it. So, yeah.
So, to the question to both of you, because I think some of what you all are saying is reflective of just like our community in general. I think there is this sort of feeling that, and Mookie can speak to this too, I think there's this feeling that it's not that a lot of us don't know that something's not right with us, that something is boiling inside of us that's really difficult. But and even if they say, you know what, I probably could benefit from getting this out, however, but there is this assumption in the community, our community, that they just feel like going to seek mental health is not something that they want to do because on the other side of that table, this person's just not going to understand. They won't be able to relate. Like, that's the assumption, so they don't even bother to do that. But being on the other side of that table, I have to say that there are people out there who can help. And so what I'm wondering is, if you felt that then, did you feel that now? Would you advocate for people in our community to say, hey, look, if you're going through whatever, based on whatever, trauma, loss, anxiety, stress, would you promote the idea that they should go talk to someone?
Yes, I do. I really do. I mean, it's always good to get it off your chest and, like, talk about it, cry about it, you know.
Yeah.
People, you know, probably love to hear that, and, you know, probably later on in life know how to cope with these issues.
But do you think us in the black community, I think that going to see someone is very much needed because you got the black community who can't trust nobody either. I can't trust this motherfucker to touch you. I can't trust this motherfucker to touch you. So you bottling all this shit inside because you can't trust nobody. You know, I don't care who it is, motherfucker might tell you some shit that's, you know, dear to them or secret, anything. Then you gotta worry about somebody telling your business. You know, and this is defense mechanisms for us in the black community. But then again, it's a double-edged sword. You can't talk to these people who's in this pool with you, this cesspool with you, because you can't trust nobody. So don't you think it would be valuable to your mental health to start reaching and find somebody outside black therapist, black woman, somebody that can relate to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you is the open door to Magnum cum laude, right?
Yeah.
But you know you got you on a path to success. You know what I'm saying? And you are much needed in the community. You know what I'm
I love the kids. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like my little sister now, like I take all her friends. We going out this summer. Like I'm making sure they, you know, have fun because I love them. Like I'd rather do stuff with the kids in the community because these kids going through a lot of things at home too. You know what I'm saying? So like I love to make sure my little sister and them get outside. You know, go to the beach. We have little picnics, movie dates, like all type of stuff. Like I'm gonna make sure these kids, you know, do something.
So with that being said, you said earlier how you was too young and you didn't see the signs. They didn't register to you at the point. To after the fact he left and then you start putting the puzzle together. This why he's doing it. So don't you think that going to see someone, if he would have went to go see someone, do you probably think he would have still been here?
For sure.
Right. So that's why it's needed. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's why this is called a quiet enemy.
Yeah,
it was real quiet.
It's very quiet, silent but deadly, as they say, right? It's silent but deadly. And it's one of those things where it can have what I call it's like a domino effect. You know, in our community, we suffer losses, and that can lead to other losses, right? You know, you lose a loved one, and you don't know how to cope with that, and that puts you in a perilous space where you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of others that you're responsible for, and then now they're starting to suffer from mental health as well. It's like a domino effect. That's why it's so important to be able to do that. And you know, it takes a lot of I think it takes courage to be able to do that, to actually say, you know what, I'm going to go get help, talk to someone. And I definitely understand the feeling of there's there's this trust factor, right? And the reason being is because being that I'm a therapist in private practice, one of the things that I noticed, I think I've said this before, that when I get African Americans who reach out to me to get therapy, a number of them say either during the phone consultation or during our first session, they're like, I wouldn't have come to therapy at all had I not found a black therapist. Or, it's more specific, I would never have gone to therapy if I didn't find a black male therapist. Because it's just not a lot of us out there. And so there is this distrust in the community. There's distrust generally speaking, and then even if you decide to say, you know what, I need to do it, and you start doing research, and you go on Google and you start looking at therapists, most times all you see is these therapists with these white faces, and it's like, oh, I can't do that, because there's this inherent mistrust. And I know that's difficult, because I see it all the time in practice, and that's one of the things that I'm a big advocate of in terms of we need to train more African Americans and people of color to become therapists. And this is the reason why I'm a professor that teaches psychology, because I train graduate students to become mental health therapists. And I tell them, you all don't understand how much you're needed. Like you all are needed. Our community needs mental health representation, right? Because a lot of times, and tell me if I'm wrong here, the fear is, one, there won't be an real understanding, and more importantly, the fear of going to see counseling is because we feel like you'll be judged.
Yeah, by your peers.
Right?
Yeah.
So that, but do like, let's just say for instance, your brothers, both of y'all lost y'all brother. Now, come full circle, both of y'all lost y'all best friends. So, you see the overwhelming of feelings, how you got to digest these emotions, these fears, these losses. So it's getting piled on. So you have to, and I'm gonna say this, you have to start seeking counseling because it's serious, man, and it's so serious that if you don't, you're gonna pass it down to your child. Your child will pass it down to their child. Then it becomes a vicious cycle.
Generational trauma, is what
Yeah,
they call it. Generational trauma.
So when y'all lost, Kia, when you lost your best friend, tell us about that.
I mean, shit. Like you said, just added on to my fire.
Yeah.
And
How long was it after?
she died last year on 15th of
Okay.
June. So it was like I don't know how to say it, but it's like I kind of had a positive outlook of me not being there because I don't know if y'all heard the story, but last year somebody killed 4. They was all in the house on 61st and Morgan, and I would have been there too.
But that was a
Like,
blessing that
you know, and it's like not knowing how to deal with my brother's loss. I don't know how to deal with that either. It just adds on more anger, like, and trusting people and wanting to be around people and like since I'm kind of older, you know, it's kind of like an expectation for me. Like that's why I salute Jada because she's able to do that.
What's an expectation for you?
Like being there for my nephews, being there for her kids, and I don't know how to do that.
The loss, the lack of trust, the lack of my ability to empathize. It becomes your new identity. And sometimes, every now and then, I would assume that every now and then, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you know that that's not really you.
All the time.
Right. You're like, that's not really me, but you can't break out of that mold. You can't break out of that mold.
That's very factual.
Yeah, and that's the quiet enemy revealing itself, if you will, in that space. And again, it goes to Mooke's point about this is why what's highlighted in that space is you're capable of healing, but you just have to accept that maybe you can't do it by yourself. And it's okay to sort of reach out and take a chance, right? Because it's 2 options. You either stay in that space, right, and not be able to connect with yourself like you used to be able to, and therefore not be able to connect with others that are looking for your love and support, or you could take a chance and possibly reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your emotions, reconnect with the ability to be able to trust and see that life has more to offer despite the loss that you have been dealing with. But it's always rolling the dice. Always. And to be truthful, anything about life, right? Anytime you want to deal with, you want success, it's to roll the dice.
Yeah.
It's a willingness to take a chance. It's a willingness to say, I'm going to step into uncharted waters, right? Whatever it is, whether it's a career move, whatever it is, it's do you have the courage to take that chance? And so that's the thing that a lot of people, you know, are kind of stuck with, that rock and hard place.
I just pray about that because I do want that. I just ask God to just give it to me.
And how's it working for you?
Shit, day by day.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I want people who suffer from trauma and loss like you have, I want them to think about life as more than day to day, right? Because, you know, the days string together, and if you think about it from day to day, then when do you find time to put time into your long-term goals, right? Because that's what makes life, you know, gives you a sense of meaning and purpose. I have goals, And they're not going to happen tomorrow or day by day. You know, 2-3 years from now, get a master's, get this job, whatever, get these skills. You got to set those goals and work backwards, right?
Yeah.
But it gives you some motivation to move forward, right? But a lot of people, when they suffer trauma and loss, I'm just making it day by day, taking it day by day, which is okay because sometimes it's all you can handle. And so we don't want to push nobody too far. But we can't stay in that space because it doesn't build to anything. And what I want from you, Kia, is I want you to build to something. I want you to build to become this person who loving and connecting with people, who can connect with people and stuff like that. But that takes time, and you have to set that goal for yourself. So it's not about day to day, right? It's about that long term.
And you've also got to understand too. You said earlier that I would have been there.
Yes.
I would have been there. So that takes a toll on your psyche as well. But then you gotta understand that's a blessing. You know, you wasn't there that night or that day because that was your blessing. And now you gotta move forward and start healing so you can, you know, like you said, you can be that queen that you're supposed to be. Because right now your shit ain't like cum laude.
Yeah.
You see cum laude shit. Cum laude. What's up? Cum laude.
So let me this brings up an interesting concept. And I think we've been talking around it, but I think it's important for our listeners to understand because one of the things that's difficult about dealing with the emotions surrounding loss and trauma is sometimes as you think about it, you can't put words to it. And you can't put words to it, it's hard to say, okay, this is what I need to do, how to figure this out. So I'm just wondering, in terms of what happened with your friend in the apartment, and you were not there, and Mook said, that you have to kind of look at it as it's helpful to look at it as a blessing. Sometimes that's hard because some people have what we call survivor's guilt, right? Like how come?
It wasn't me.
Right, I made it, but.
Yeah.
Right, and sometimes that survivor's guilt can be very crippling. I'm wondering if that's something that you deal with to any extent.
To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's tricky. It's tricky to understand what all these feelings mean, but from the standpoint that I'm in, a lot of times that's one of the things that people really deal with is this idea of survivor's guilt. And because they're so enmeshed in that guilt, the thing about real deep emotions and extreme emotions is that when you're knee deep in those emotions, you can't help but be selfish because you're so caught up in it's like treading water and not being able to get to the shore, right? And if you're treading water trying to get to the shore, you ain't worried about nothing else, right? You can't, otherwise it become overwhelming. But the whole hope is that you can eventually get to shore, right? And so that's the thing about survivor's guilt. Any extreme emotions is you tend to become self-focused. And in therapy, the goal is let's take that self-focus and work on healing, not just being stuck in those negative feelings. Let's take that energy that's causing you to feel so guilty and everything else, just take that and turn it and recalibrate it to help you heal. That's one of the, I think, the goals of therapy is in terms of working with trauma and what have you. Because I don't want this to be who Kia becomes, right? I don't want Kia's identity to be, be 8/31/15, I was never the same, this is the new me. That is because the new me, as you define it, is the day by day. I can't connect with my nephews or be there for them and stuff like that. And I'm sure you don't want that. And I'm sure you remember how it feels to connect authentically, realistically, and affectionately with your loved ones and what have you. And that's not a foregone conclusion. It's not to say because you've gone through these things you can't get back there and you can't re-engage in life like that. And that's the whole point. Kia, I want you to re-engage in life. But that's ultimately your responsibility. And the responsibility of any good therapist is to help you walk through that process, to that goal. So I'm there for you.
Open door. What's up?
What's up?
Tell us about your loss and your best friend and how it's affected you as moving forward, you taking your loss?
Now, to be clear, so you lost your brother at 16. When did you lose your close friend?
9 months ago.
Okay, this is very recent as well.
Yeah, so I lost CD, and everybody know him as Crazy J. That was my heart too. Like, that was my best friend since like first grade. And he got killed. And I lost it too. Like, cause that day, September 9th, he was supposed to come pick me up from the airport. I was just coming back from school. Like, he said, I'm gonna come pick you up. I'm calling him like I'm on my way to the airport. And the whole time I'm getting another call from somebody else saying that he gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, that hurt. Like, that was just like all over again. Like, I lost my brother before school and I lost him like at the end of school. And I can't forget about Ting, because I lost Ting during school. Like, it's just a lot, like, to even go through, because like they was like the ones that was helping me get through school. Because at first I did not want to go to Clark. I told mom, like, I'm not going there. She like, yes you are. Like, you're going to school. Like, you're getting from up out of this house. Like, I don't know what you think that you finna do. You finna be outside thinking you finna be with the racks and the moles. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going far away from all of them and all of that. Like,
But I want to go to Kennedy.
okay, I really wanted to go to college to do Page, but she like, no, you're not. Like,
Mine just 2 hours away.
exactly.
Oh,
Right.
You got between Alaska and Atlanta.
Okay. And my mama, she just wasn't going. So like, they was the ones that was helping me get through school. Like, man, you finna graduate, shorty. It's like many of us that don't do that. Like, I'm one out of many females from like our neighborhood that don't, go to school and
Definitely.
be on they ish and just doing what's right. Like, they want to go, do
Twerk
other
and shit.
things. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Turn the
all they do
bottle
is
up.
twerk, man. That's
You can do that at school, though. Like,
but why everybody just twerking?
I don't even know how to twerk.
You cooking tonight?
Right.
We finna go to the show.
Right.
Let me ask you a question, Jada. Please, crazy. I didn't know twerk was a lifestyle, but okay.
It is not.
Right.
Okay, so I think this is really important as a point of allowing yourself to heal in the sense of sometimes we have to get out of the environment.
That's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped me heal during the process with my brother. Like, I think it was a whole environment change. I think that's what it was. Like, I left Chicago because Chicago is depressing. Like, that's why I travel so much now. Like, last year I took like 8 flights. Like, I was gone from city to city to city. Like, it's good to like leave. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm kind of glad that she did like push me to go away, because I was able to network with new people, try new things. Like, it was just a whole different aspect. I was in the AUC. Like, who don't want to go to an HBCU? Like, so that's what it was.
I'm glad that you had that experience, and a lot. That's a big accomplishment. And you're a rare breed nowadays, as far as young women your age that's looking at their future and doing what's right.
And not twerking.
And not twerking.
Right.
So, and I just want to say thank y'all for coming to do the show. It's been fun. I got to kick the open door. She a hooper too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she
She a hooper.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
So I'd like to thank y'all ladies for coming out and sharing y'all experience with the Quiet Enemy podcast. I wish y'all nothing but the best. Nothing but the
Thank
best.
you. And I thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah. So we finna get into Dre's Corner. and let the doc say what he got to say.
Thanks. This has been an enlightening show. I think let me first say thank you for taking the first step and having the courage to share your story. Because here's the thing that's important about that. Others are going through and have gone through what you've gone through. And they don't either have a voice or the courage or even just the know-how to say how to deal with this. And so it's possible that when they see this podcast, that will spark something in them and say, hey, I need to speak out and deal with that. So that is what you're doing to get back, whether you recognize it or not. And that's a very profound thing. A couple other things I think I want to point out is that trauma and loss is something that's very characteristic of our community, right? We lose a lot of people way too soon. I remember a Kanye West song when he says, and on his first album, he says, a whole bunch of kids are saying we wasn't supposed to make it past 25, jokes on you, we still alive. And, when I heard that song, I'm like, why would you make a song about that? Like, that's how common it is in our community. You don't hear other communities even joking about that. But that's just a reality for us and how we deal with life and loss. That's a bit too early. But the other thing that's characteristic of our people and our community is that we're resilient. And there's no better example of resiliency than kumadi, as you call it, data, right?
Open door.
Right? Yeah. And I think part of what makes a resiliency possible is having a support system and allowing yourself to be part of that support system, right? I also think that it's really important to, if you have an opportunity to change your environment, if you have the opportunity to, you should take it. Because one of the things about growing up in our community a lot of times is that we don't see nothing else.
That's true.
We don't see nothing else, so we tend to think that this is how the world operates. Mm-hmm. And the world operates indifferently, it's the shit you see on TV. Mm-hmm. And that's not real. That's not real. So I think if you have an opportunity to get out and see something, you have an uncle in Florida, an auntie in Montana, go see something else. Get a different perspective. Understand there's more than life than just the hood. And sometimes that can pay dividends in terms of allowing you just a breath of fresh air to say, let me sit back and rethink about how I would like to live my life. Because you're going to have to ask that question. Kia, you're going to have to ask that question moving forward. How do I want to live my life moving forward? You're going to have to ask yourself that question. And I'll be more than happy to help you start to answer that question. Sounds like you've asked that question and answered it, still answering it, Ms. Kumadi. But I think, but ultimately what I like to say is, again, thank you for your courage. Understand that survivor's guilt is something that we tend to go through, but you can't blame yourself for the tragedies that befall our community. You have to push on because you still have a life to lead that can be full of meaning and purpose. So you have to push. You have to understand that resilience is important. You have to understand that courage is important. The courage to face life. The courage to say, you know what, I don't have to wear this label and walk in this identity. I can always become something else. And last but not least, I would say, understand that what you guys are doing, Kia, what you're doing, I think is really important for you, Kia, is that just by being here and sharing your story, you have started a path of healing. Because there's somebody that's going to listen to this and say, hey, I feel Kia, and I'm going to do something. That's already the contribution you've made. Okay, so thank you for that. And with that being said, we're going to close out this episode of A Quiet Enemy. Thank you for listening, for tuning in. Remember to check out our website at quietenemy.net. .net. Check out our gear, Quiet Enemy.
Stay fresh to death.
All right. With that being said, we'll see you next time.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
I'm thinking about the day that my brother died, and all them tears that my mama cried, and all them drugs had my brain fried. I was knocking girls